I know a lot of times we feel we have to be the hero and always come through, but to not have to have that weight on our shoulders is huge.
That's where the vision comes in, and that's what it's taken me 10 years to really understand. Business is my identity.
Totally.
And all of a sudden, I'm finding myself not needed. We've grown quite a bit, so what's next? It takes a visionary to really push the envelope.
Yep. Hi there, Coach Bob Schennefeld here, founder of I Matter and the Visionary Forum and host of Viva La Visionary. Very excited to have my good friend and past client, and I'm a client of Ivan Katz from Great Lakes Landscaping. How are you, Ivan?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here today, Bob. It's been a while since we caught up.
I'm excited. And we're being recorded as we catch up.
Well, really?
Thank you,
You
for
didn't
being
tell me we recorded.
Okay, shouldn't have done that. So I want to start with, when did you realize you were a visionary?
I think when we got together, I originally came to you and I was just looking for some help for like a strategic plan. And you're like, but wait, I'm starting this thing. I need to have this conversation with you. Kind of started talking and you explained EOS to me and the concept of what a visionary is. And then it started to make sense, right? So I'm full of all these ideas. They come at a rapid pace. You're full of it.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And I just didn't know that there was a name for it.
Right.
So for me, really, it was just kind of okay, I can relate to that. And then when you start putting, descriptions to the word visionary, it made a lot of sense for me.
Right. I also remember I had a meeting for integrators. So that's the yin to our yang as a visionary. And you showed up because, like a lot of us, when we are getting started in a business process, we're many seats. And so you were the integrator for lack of anyone else. And what I remember is at the end of the meeting, you're just like, I need an integrator because I can't do this stuff. And I'm the same way.
Right. Right. So I used to say I'm the guy that gets it to 80%. And then Des, our integrator, told me that it's really 20%. So, and then I walk away because I've got it as far as I need to get it.
Right.
Now I recognize that other people are going to do a far better job taking it to the finish line. So
I appreciate that. So what in your mind is the role of the visionary? So what do you do, or who do you be?
I mean, I think I've looked at it a lot of different ways. One is I'm the spirit of the company, right? So like I set the tone. I don't think I'm a big deal, but when you're the owner of the company, people are looking to you for everything,
right.
For the answers sometimes, and other times it's just the direction. They're looking for clarity and vision and where we're headed.
Right.
So, really just kind of taking that to heart and making sure that when I come in, I've got to, flip that switch and make sure that I'm always on.
Right. Right. So that's interesting. So always on. Because a lot of times I have felt as a visionary, I'm like the cheerleader and the positive and the rah-rah. Now, when you say on, is it that or what do you mean by on?
I just think it's, if I'm having an off day, I've got to make sure that I check myself at the door, proverbially, and make sure that I'm coming in with the right amount of energy.
Right.
Because people will feed off me either way.
Right.
So we want to make sure that it's always positive.
Right.
So when I get home, that's my opportunity to kind of unplug and take a break.
So that's a great point. So if what I'm hearing is to be on and be present in the business, so what are other outlets other than our spouses at home to vent and to dream and to be crazy without disrupting our team?
So some of mine are my favorites are, I have a steam in my shower at home. So every morning I take a steam, I drink a cup of coffee, I do my meditation and set my head straight for the day. That's a good one for me. Extreme physical exercise. I was doing Ironman and all that kind of training for a long time.
Right.
So that was important for me.
Getting the energy out.
Getting that energy out. That was a big game changer for me when I started doing all that stuff, and it really helped.
Right.
I'm not at that level anymore, but I'm still doing physical exercise and I get a lot of gratification out of that. And now instead of running, I'm just walking with the weighted vest and, trying to keep my knees still moving.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I know you used to be involved with a group of entrepreneurs. Did that help? And are you still doing anything like that?
Yeah. So I was in EO for 20 plus years.
The entrepreneur organization.
Yeah. So we went, as we like to say, we went rogue.
Right. Which is a visionary thing.
And it was great until it wasn't, and it imploded. So,
right.
But I had simultaneously joined an industry specific peer group,
right,
and that's kind of replaced it in a really positive way, like not just business, but that deep personal connection where oftentimes it's not that job description that's holding us back. It's something between our ears.
Right. Right. So you have a space to, again, vent and get it out there. Because if we solely dictate or dependent on our spouses or our company, that's not always a good thing.
Yeah, no, because it's hard for them to understand my perspective.
Right.
You know, I like to tell people maybe it's a visionary thing, but as a business owner, I'm unemployable.
Oh,
you know, I don't know how I would go and then have to work for someone. So in that vein, it carries with it some weight. But I think, you know, with my team, we've built a strong enough level of trust where there are certain things I can at least say to them, understand that this is my perspective. I completely appreciate and respect yours, but, you know, here's how I look at it too, you know?
Right. No, that's great. And that you're listening. I know a lot of times we feel we have to be the hero and always come through, but to not have to have that weight on our shoulders is huge.
Yeah, that is the weight. That's part of being a visionary and an entrepreneur is having that weight.
Right.
You are Superman in a lot of ways.
True.
Right. You really are until we aren't. and then where do you take that? And listen, I'm fortunate. My wife and I have been married now. It'll be 32 years this year.
Congratulations.
So this month.
Right.
And so I think that that's a big part of it. You know, she's able to, I know what to bring home, what not to bring home.
Right.
But she's the best partner I've ever had.
That's awesome. Good for you. So why is Great Lakes Landscape different, or how is it different from other landscape companies? You know, perceptually, it's a commodity. I can get a bid from you and someone else. And why would I choose you over someone else?
So I think it starts with our mission, which is transforming spaces and lives using nature and innovation. So that was something that we developed with you. And at first it was just kind of like, okay, we're going to get people outdoors and this is going to be great. Right. We're going to teach them how great nature is. And then I really realized that the real magic is that I'm changing my employees' lives. Right. I'm helping them make a better life. And then that translates to your customer. I mean, this is classic stuff. You hear it all the time.
Right.
Take good care of your people and they'll take good care of your customers.
Right.
And the reality is as you grow, it's impossible. I couldn't physically do the work that my guys do on a daily basis.
Right.
So I think from top to bottom, you have to understand and respect that you only can grow as far as the people that you have.
Right.
So once we really embraced that, you know, really the culture took hold. And the funny thing about culture is it's a living, breathing, evolving thing that can be disrupted with one bad employee. But I think that's where it starts. And so because we have that with our people, I think it really translates into how we care for our properties and our clients.
Right.
So, I mean, anyone can cut grass.
Right.
But are they consistent, reliable, dependable? And we have another internal one, which is WGSD, which is we get shit done.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, there's no excuses. We just make it happen.
Right. So say the line again about transforming lives, if you could say that again.
Transforming spaces and lives using nature and innovation.
And that really spoke to me. And again, as a client of yours, and I got to experience you and your superpower coming in to really, and you already knew us, but ask what we were looking for. And, you know, you almost knew more what we wanted than we did. And so, and again, I want you to speak to that a little bit. And one of the things is when our garage is detached. And so we were turning, and actually you helped us with that when I said, I think we're going to move because I want a space where my kids can hang out. And we were in the game room and you're like, this is perfect. So that was a cool thing. So we started to work on that, and you're like, call me first. I'm like, well, you're the landscaper. But it's like you understood the whole vision, and then therefore you dig a landline before you do the landscaping. So just tell me about how like you're at the beginning of a project kind of interviewing us to figure out what really makes a difference. And my wife and I lived in Colorado, and we still miss that a lot. But we call our backyard the Colorado room, which is what you built for us.
Right.
So just explain that a little bit. You just didn't say, what do you want? You interviewed us and talked and pushed and pulled.
First of all, COVID was great for our industry because COVID showed people what we already knew. And we're trying to tell people that the outdoors is where you need to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Nature is where it's at. Right. And so I tell people you should be calling me first, even though we're the last guys in.
Right. Exactly.
You should be calling us first because we have a different perspective.
Right.
And the outdoors truly is an extension of your inside.
Right.
Right. But I think the best things happen outdoors. Right. It's an amazing place to enjoy Mother Nature and, have peace, whether it be a water feature or, a fire,
right?
Wind, water, fire, earth.
Right.
So
the four elements.
It all brings it back to that. And so I'm getting ready. We're hosting a conference here called the Summit in August. And I'm going to be giving a talk on business development in a residential market, which is a little unusual. But I'm reflecting back, like, where did all this come from? Like, how did I get to this point in life? And I've been in the service industry since I was 10. Right. I'm like, I was a paper boy, and then I worked in food service. So I think it's really serving people, right? Like, how am I going to make your life better for you? Right. When I leave your house, it looks amazing from my back porch.
Right.
So my goal is to make sure that I hear what you have to say, and I can deliver on what it is that really makes you the most at home, the most at peace,
right,
and the happiest in your own backyard. As for some people, it's a smoker.
Right.
For other people, it's a water feature that they can fall asleep to.
Right.
Some people want a bonfire. Some people just want to flick a switch and have the gas come on.
Right.
They just want easy.
Right.
And I think all of those things are critical for each person, whether it be colors or something that brings something out from your childhood or a memory. How can we capitalize on that and then make the best use of the space? Because your space was small, but we made the most of it.
Right.
Place for the dog, place for the kids.
Right.
Place for you.
Well, and you helped. So even on the water feature, which, as we talked, we knew we wanted the sound and the view of water. And so you said, well, we can get a giant boulder and drill a hole through it. And that was not cheap. And so my wife was like, well, we could do that for 5% of it from English Gardens. And you're like, go for it. But here's what you're going to miss. And what I remember is we came and picked out the giant boulder, and your people, it took them 8 hours to drill through it, and you built the fountain. That's one of the reasons we still are there, because at times we're like, we would need something bigger or this or that. But because our house is twice as big because of the outside space, and we can hear the fountain, our neighbors thank us for the fountain.
Right.
And it's beautiful. And again, it's just, we got the four elements. So it reminds us of being, I said, I don't know if we'll ever move. I mean, we might have other places, but thank you for giving us a space that we appreciate, and it represents us.
Right.
So when we invite people over, people are like, this is so you guys.
Right. The bubbling rock.
Right. And there's many other things I could get into that you really helped us, and not just on the look and the feel, but we had some flooding areas and you took care of it, and people are like, what are you doing? And it's like, Ivan and his team are taking over, and it's helped us a lot, which we appreciate. So what's an opportunity you're wrestling with now as far as either growth or ceiling you've hit, or what's kind of next?
So we're in the thick of that right now. So we had from 21 through end of 24, we almost tripled the size of our company headcount, revenue, and a lot of great stuff. Moved to a larger facility, which is we're blessed to be in there. I walk through there and I'm like, wow, like I look around.
Look at what we built, right?
Talk to my father who passed away, 14 years ago. And I'm like, Dad, I just wish you could have seen this, man. It's amazing. But what I discovered was that run the sales pretty hardcore, and it's not sustainable.
Right.
Not good for the health of the company, not good for scaling for growth. So we're in the midst of rebuilding our entire sales team, all the processes that went into it.
Right.
I think basically we broke everything. We got to double, almost triple our revenue, and everything that worked just was like hit the skids. And I was like, wow. But we had a lot of good people. We made a couple additional hires, complementary to what we needed and where we want to go.
Right.
And we started that process at the end of July. And man, we've been just going hard for 8 months, like 9 months. And we're starting to, we front loaded our first quarter, and there's just so much going on that even I stopped coming and saying, well, what about this? And what about that?
Right.
I had to put some things on the back burner just because I could see that everybody was maxed out. And the work we're doing is critical to the changing of the future. And we're already seeing the fruits of it. So really quickly, for the winter, we grew our snow removal business by 60%, which translated very well coming into the spring. We're already pretty much at 100% of what we projected for maintenance revenue and still growing, which is amazing because we brought in a new key hire in the account management space.
Right.
We have a new salesperson starting next week. I have a sales manager in place, and then we converted Jeremy, as you know, from a designer. He's going to be in his second full year as a salesperson. So very optimistic I'll be able to start to reduce the dependence on me for sales.
Right.
So instead of being 60%, I should only have to be maybe 20 to 30%. And then I'll be able to just do what I'm really looking forward to, which is coach and mentor, and just build the relationships and have more fun. It's kind of gotten to the point where I don't even really want to do that part anymore.
Right.
I like to go to the meetings, meet the people, and then just kind of let somebody else do the nuts and bolts, prepare the proposals, handle the site measurements, manage the jobs. And so just doing a lot more business development, which is a blast.
I love that. And a lot of visionaries usually start out running sales, and a lot of us are not good at managing and driving accountability. So, but that's usually the toughest one to give up. But then part of it is, I feel like sometimes people are like, well, what am I going to do next? I don't think that's your problem. But a lot of times, well, what do I do? I'm used to doing all these things. And a lot of people identify themselves as their job. And so, that's a great, I see an evolution for you to really step into that visionary role. And even just to if you're having fun, you're probably going to come up with ideas that you wouldn't have if you were working in the business.
Well, I think one time you called me a flaming visionary, right? So my tendency is to stop and get out too soon. Oh, we're going to do this.
Right.
Which I did in 2025. And then on top of trying to remove myself and hiring 3 new salespeople all at once, onboarding 3 all at once, we had a downturn in lead flow and sales in the third quarter. All as I'm just chewing things up and making changes and leadership team changes. And, I like to move fast, sometimes no matter what the cost.
Right.
But I think ultimately we'll be stronger for it. We're looking at new verticals. We started a new one last year. The biggest difference is now we put a name to it. Now we say, this is a great idea. My CFIs. Yeah. Remember what that stands for?
No.
Crazy fucking ideas.
Oh, right. Yeah. Thank you.
So we call it an incubator. Right. So they're in the incubator phase. We have one in the incubator phase right now. The one that we started for hydrology was in the incubator phase last year. We did $250,000 in revenue in our first year. So now it's a division.
Right.
So now it's something that we can promote, and then we'll really put our resources towards. This year we've got an events kind of concept. We did the Bloom Bar, which we've been doing at our events that we host at our facility. Right. Generally in June or July, where we, people leave and they get to go home and take a bouquet to their significant other.
Right.
So we monetized it for a Christmas party for one of my clients. And so now we're looking at doing this. Plus I'm planning a wedding. And I've got this thing about you buy all this, spend all this money on florals and then you throw it all out.
Right.
So being in the world of sustainability, I'm like, well, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way. So we got the Bloom Bar, we got the events, we do centerpieces that we can design and curate, especially to your unique tastes.
Right.
And then we can take them to, if you have 30 tables, we'll take them to the top 30 guests, deliver them the next day. Now they have a memento. The pots or planters maybe that are on the aisle. We'll take those, we'll curate them right for your home. So when you're done, it goes right to your house. Right. So now you've got something for the investment that you made in a memory from your wedding. And hopefully a good one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you're providing impact past the actual event.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. So having that clear headspace to not have to be dependent on for sales is really exciting to me. Like, what could I really do?
It's fun and it's quirky and it's bold. And that's what I think a lot of visionaries lose when they're running the business. It's like, I was having more fun as a sales rep, but then once we get the team and we can be that visionary, we can dream. And that's what changes not only our business, but our community in many different ways.
Right.
So one thing I remember that I learned from one of your sessions, I made the comment on your largest client, what would that look like? And you kind of lit up and said, it'd be like this, and this. And it's like, so I asked, how come you haven't sold more? And what I remember is you honestly said to the group, I don't know if we can handle it. And the group was kind of like, well, what do you mean we can't handle it? And that was, to me, a breakthrough for the team and also a breakthrough for me that sometimes we aren't trusting enough, but sometimes we also know that it's not going to work because it's our reputation. If you sell me on something and it doesn't work, that's not a good thing because I'm not going to recommend you and we're friends and whatnot. But that to me was a breakthrough that the team said, well, where do you think we're going to fail? And you shared, that was even your vision of a lot of us visionaries are actually good at seeing structure and where there's holes. We're not always good at managing the structure. But So I don't know if you remember that moment, but to me, that was a breakthrough where you were like, our target market is those bigger ones because we do so many extra things. So any recollection or thoughts on that? Because that was a breakthrough for me that you then were open and honest to say, this is who we should be serving, but also this is where I think we could fall short. So what can we do to improve on that?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that continues to recur. I think it was basically, I didn't think that they could keep up with the volume that we would be able to do. And I think we've addressed it.
Right. Oh, I think so
too. we made them rocks and throughout the process. And we figured out what it was and slowly changed it. And it really manifested as simply as something like, we wouldn't get to our first weeding visit until June or July.
Right.
And that was like, now all you're doing is letting people down.
Right.
So it was a staffing issue. It was a training issue.
Right.
It was a scheduling issue. And it was all those things. And we just slowly but surely addressed what each one was.
Right.
Until we got to the point where now it's, you get the same crew in the same truck,
right,
the same 3 guys on a weekly basis, almost at the same time with the fluctuations in weather.
Right.
And we've created that. Now it's scalable.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean we don't hit bumps in the road because you have personnel changes and it could be for the better. So we promoted a young guy that works for me, started working for me in his I think in his teens, early 20s.
Wow.
And now he's a production manager. So we took somebody that was really killing it with the clients and made him the leader of 4 crews.
Right.
And so now we have that, okay, what changed? Right. So how do we make sure that we're sustaining that? So we had to take a little bit of a step back and we implemented a new training program this year. And by we, I mean, not me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I had nothing to do with it, but watching it happen gives me more pride, than it does to actually physically do the work because, people have the space to, come up with new ideas, take something and make it better. than what we were using in the beginning. But yeah, no, it was pretty clear. And I've had that a couple times where it turned out to just be the story in my head. And when I put them to the test, they rose to the challenge.
Oh, that's awesome. And congratulations. You shared your bigger vision, and you and the team worked on the business rather than in the business.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, I think we can do this, but we need to be ready. Because I know, as usually the top rainmaker of any of my companies, I don't want to sell something that we're going to let them down. So again, here's how I visioned it. And here's the story of what a happy client looks like. And then they wrote, you trusted them and you put process in place. So that's congratulations.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now. And then making sure you do it. Execution is the biggest thing of all, right? We talk about, we started doing some pre-construction meetings last year, and we're already on track with them this year. And I mean, we're seeing the results. Jobs are being brought in on or under the hours. I mean, that's like pure proof.
Right.
It's not insanity. We saw the need, we're making it better. And we've just got this environment where it's continuous improvement.
Right.
One of the woman, Ellen, I told you about that we hired, her title is Director of Continuous Improvement.
Right.
That's awesome. So, what does that mean? And well, for us, it just means every day we're going to get better.
Right.
And how are we going to do it? And we're going to talk about it. We're not going to run from it, but all the people that are affected are going to have a healthy, honest, open conversation. And we're just going to figure out a way to make it better, because everyone's life are easier. The guys aren't showing up to the job and they have all the materials. Right. Don't schedule. We have to bump the job because we don't have the materials. Or, I forgot, that's a great idea. This is a better way to do it. What if we did it this way? And now they just shaved 10% of the hours out.
Right.
And we're teaching these guys how to manage their what a billable hour is versus unbillable hour.
Right.
Because everything's tied to profit share.
Right.
So we're teaching people of all levels of education about running a business, essentially. Right. So what does that look like for somebody who maybe hasn't been through high school?
Right.
And then people that have been through secondary education. And the reality is we're all learning something from each other.
Love it.
Because the guy that's in the field doing the actual work can tell you as much as the guy who may have an MBA from whatever university, fill in the name.
Right.
Because they're the ones doing the work on the ground. And all you did was read a book, take a class.
Right. Pass the test.
And pass some tests, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm proof positive of that. I can pass a test, pretty good at that.
Right.
But there's things that I wouldn't actually trust myself to do in the field.
Yep. Oh, that's great. And I've been to some of the events at your space, and to work with people that love their job, it's such a pleasure. And it's kind of odd. It's not normal. And so again, you've invested in your people and trusted them, and then they're happier at work, which makes me feel good. And then I feel like I'm being taken care of. So that's great that you created that culture.
Well, think about it. A third of your life is spent at work.
Oh, yeah.
A week per week, right? Not of your life. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But a third of your week is spent with people that you work with, or you're on your way to work, or you're going home from work.
Right.
So you're decompressing to prepare for the whatever you have at home. And for some people, that's their escape.
Yep.
Coming to work is an escape. So how do we transform the spaces and lives, right? So we have at the new space, I don't think you've been there yet.
Yeah.
The hub.
Yep.
Yeah, you were there. Okay. So, we just put in as many amenities as we can, and we treat it like it's just a holy place because we're there every day.
Right.
Keep it clean, keep it neat. That's the image that we're trying to portray to our clients. So, everything has to match in and throughout the building.
Right. So you're walking the talk.
Even though we're playing in dirt. So
we're clean.
We're as clean as we can be.
Right.
And we put our best foot forward. I mean, we're preparing for that event, and we had an event last year, and people are like, well, what'd you have to do to get ready? And well, yeah, we power wash the floors, but as a rule of thumb, we maintain that discipline.
Right.
From when we were in a smaller facility into the larger facility.
Right.
Because there's pride of ownership. It's amazing to watch.
Good for you. That's amazing. So what is your target market? So who are your perfect clients? Because again, it's like, oh, we service everyone. Okay, that doesn't usually work. So who are your perfect clients, either demographic, geographic, psychographic?
So it's really busy and demanding professionals.
So you want busy and demanding
and demanding. I mean, honestly, it's we've got some really, and I'll tell you why, because I think the demanding part is simply they know what they want and they have very high expectations. And they're willing to hire us to take care of that.
Right.
They're looking for us to be experts. They're looking for us to be proactive. People that want proactive management.
Right.
I'm fortunate to have some people that just love their landscape.
Right.
I mean, that's just awesome. It's a very interesting dynamic that they walk their entire property. People don't think that, but their space that's their home. That's their sanctuary. Like that's where they entertain on the weekends. That's where they're spending their time with their families. It is an escape for them.
Right.
They're not in the glass walls or the dungeon of an office per se. They're out walking the grounds and either spending time at their pool or maybe around a fire and stuff like that. So I think it's somebody that really is just looking for all in one. Right. We're able to be the expert for them and kind of take care of and coordinate everything.
Right. Well, I like, and I remember the busy and demanding when I had a neighbor who was looking for a landscaper. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, he's demanding. So it's like, okay, that, and again, may or may not be a fit, but it's like, yeah, tell us what you want and we'll tell you if we can do it or not. But I think to have a target market like that helps connectors and clients to refer you.
Right. And demanding doesn't have to be, I don't mean it in a negative way. It just means they know what they want and they have the expectations. And listen, that's, I don't know, is that 100%, 90% of sales is setting the expectations and making sure that you understand, what it is they're seeking and what it is they're trying to create in their homes.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So I have one more question, but I want to open it up to you. Do you have any either comments or questions for me regarding anything either we've done or visionary space or any lessons learned that you can share to other visionaries?
I think the lessons are, it doesn't stop. It's infinite. I'm constantly learning or being reminded. It's easy to become complacent. Right. How do you maintain that level?
Right.
When things shift and change, and as things grow, like we've grown quite a bit. So what's next? What's next for me?
Right.
And how do I continue to challenge myself? And when is enough enough?
Right.
So these are some of the questions that are circulating in my head. For me, enough is not enough right now. I'm still enjoying what I do. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the ability to be able to go away for 4 to 6 weeks at a time whenever I want.
Right.
Now I can do it 2 weeks, no problem. But getting to that space where I'm not, the business exists without me purely. But yet it still thrives with me.
Right.
So I think as long as I can contribute at that level, I don't really see an end anytime soon. Talking about growth, where are we going? I think we got a pretty clear 3-year plan.
Right.
And it's cohesive. I think it's conservative, but I tend to, we can always push the buttons and do better. Right.
Right.
But I think it's important for people to buy in, and kind of really understand that part of it. So what other lessons? Every change is good.
Right.
We've got AI coming in and we've got, the autonomous mowers and all that stuff. And, one of the things sometimes we can't compete on is lawn maintenance. There's a lot of owner operators out there and it just doesn't make sense. So we have to, how did we overcome that? Well, we provide full service end to end. And that's where they can't.
Right.
So that's what we've had to do is how do we pivot and how do we make that change? Well, autonomous mowers are going to be great because it'll allow us to just equalize the playing field and turn something that's lower margin into nice margins because we'll be on the site and being able to give them a higher level of service because that will just dispatch the mower automatically.
Is that happening?
It's here. They're here.
I've heard about the snowblowers.
The snowblower, everything is here.
Right.
But the level that where I think they will go. So I think ultimately where it'll go and where it's going is one guy will take the machine out and run the route. And then the next time they go out, they'll just press the button and it'll literally unload itself off the trailer, go do the route. If there's 5 houses in a row, come back, load itself back up on the trailer till the next stop. While the guys are doing the higher value work, that, and labor's critical, I mean, and then training, we spend a lot of time training. So I would say almost 5 years ago, we went to a model where we started employing our people year round. It was a long goal. When we started with you, God, it was 2016.
Right.
So this is 10 years, like where we've really, really involved. And what does it look like? What's the 3-year picture?
Right.
Well, we've done 4 3-year pictures now since we started.
Crazy. Yeah.
So what does this one look like and how many people are there and how are you going to make the best use of those people?
Right.
And so we went to, whether it snows or not, they're working.
Right. And then you can hire the people that can count on you because they're not looking for work half of the year or whatever.
Right.
That's awesome. Nice commitment.
So a big commitment and it comes with a cost, but we really, really believe that it's well worth it because our turnover is lower. The quality of our employees is higher. Right. And hopefully it becomes the magnet that attracts them to us. That's kind of another thing that makes us special is our turnover is low.
Right. Because you're investing in the people.
Yeah. Even though over 10 years, it's funny, I got a wall of fame of the people. And I think it just grew a little bit once you're over 5 years, it gets on there. But that's the power of, accountability. Right. People select out. And so there are a core group of people that are still here. And now as we add them, we use those core values to hire. Right. And it makes a difference. And so we know now that we're going to be able to keep people. And then we have people that come back. Yeah. We kind of treat them really well when they leave. Generally, it's maybe they want to go try something different, go back to school. Right. Maybe move back to Mexico and go home, spend some time with family down there. So I think it's what other kind of lessons can we talk about? Self-awareness, a lot of internal surveys. Right. Nothing's a surprise though. I see it and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Behavioral tests. Yeah, that's me. Right. Not going to, certain things we can change with the help of our people. But if people are willing to do that, at least with me, then it gives everybody permission to kind of hold each other accountable.
And you've led by example because I know you've done a lot of personal work on what matters most to you and what's your legacy and whatnot. So you're leading by example, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is the reality. That's where we met first.
Right.
It was it was in Midland.
Yes, right. On a retreat, right?
On a retreat in Midland, Michigan. Not one of our finest retreats in terms of location.
Right.
But in terms of impact, that was a huge, huge impact for me. That.
So what was the impact?
Well, that was like 2010, I think.
Yeah.
I had gone through an embezzlement and I had put on an extreme amount of weight. I weighed over 300 pounds. Oh, wow. And we had your session and it was like, it hit me where it needed. Mm-hmm. I was in the right place where I needed to be with you and the group of guys and I just was like, okay, I got to get my head straight. Right. And so that was really
honored to be a part of it.
Oh, and still grateful. Right. So when I see you doing all this different stuff, I'm like, oh, what's he doing now? Right. So tell me, what are you doing?
All right. Well, we'll talk more about that. Well, it's interesting. So a little plug on that. I Matter is what you're talking about that I took your forum through, and it helps people to realize what matters most, clarify who they are, and to follow their North Star. And what I've realized is as companies go through a business operating system, what's next? And it's the human side, which is nothing new, but it's investing time and money. And that's where I'm now coming in and coaching teams that have graduated from EOS. And it's helping people to realize, for them, because like you said, we spend a third of our life, or at least of our week, at work. Why not learn who we are and trust and grow as individuals and as a team? Because I found at my first business, we'd spent a lot of time on that. And people are like, I could use this at home. And because it was life skills. So that's what I matter at work is what we're doing now. And it's helping people to know and act like they matter and overcome adversity. Because adversity can just be, I thought it was going to be to have this for dinner and I had this. Okay, how do you deal with it? Or it could be big adversity. So I'm still doing a lot of the same stuff, but now actually in the workplace, which has been amazing. So,
well, then take it to the next level with, as I grow this business and where I'm at right now, what about my identity, right? This business is my identity.
Totally.
And all of a sudden I'm finding myself not needed. And it's like, oh, this is great. And then, what do you mean they don't need me? Right?
So I've got these
dueling pianos going on and I'm like, oh, they don't need me. Yay, they don't need me.
Exactly. Right.
So what is my new identity? What is it? My new role? Where am I gonna, that's what I said. Where do I add the most value now?
Right.
Because I said, let's take me out of sales, and it was a good feeling to be the top sales guy. Right. It's not a bad thing. But now, where's my real value?
Right.
So really trying to, as a leader, because otherwise you become a true bottleneck.
Right.
And so in order to do that, that means you got to change to your identity. Well, I was involved in all the decisions.
Right.
And then it's you're not involved in any decisions, but what's the communication back and forth? Because I still need to understand. And we're doing a lot of that, defining what that looks like now. So if there's I gave some clarity to it, that's one of the things I've needed to really work on lately is being very clear with the guidance. And I just said, look, if you're going to do anything that changes my business for more than 24 hours, just let me know.
Right.
At least clue me in.
Yeah.
Right. If it's a financial decision that's more than X, those are easy to define. Right. If it's what color toilet paper do we buy? I don't care. Right. Just make sure it's good toilet paper.
Right. Well, it's interesting because you bring up that's, in EOS, business operating system, we talk about letting go of the vine. And that's usually for us visionary with processes and people, to trust people. But again, it's but that's who I've been for 20 or 30 years. And so, kind of my tagline is live life beyond the vine. Because a lot of people have a hard time letting go of the vine if they don't know what's next. And that could be hobbies, relationships, health. And yet again, most of us, because we're very driven, as Dr. Doug Brackman talks about, as about 8% of us that have a different biological makeup. And part of it's imposter syndrome, which at first I was like, well, that's not my problem. And it's oh, shit, that is my problem because I'm trying to prove myself. And so, but it's if I don't have to prove myself, I can just be. And that's where then life beyond the vine comes in. So that's where I'm helping a lot of visionaries to say, what's next? That doesn't mean you have to leave. But as I'm there and I'm happier, I joke, it's not just happy wife, happy life. It's happy visionary, happy life. And I don't mean to say that, that we're better than anyone else or more deserving, but we are the cause of and the cure of almost all life's problems. We create a lot of shit.
But that's the reference to the spirit of the company.
Right.
Because you come in the door and you're miserable. Yeah. Everyone's like,
he's going to micromanage me.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no micromanaging.
No.
That's no fun.
Right.
That doesn't really get you that far either.
No.
But imposter syndrome is real. But I've just had a lot of realizations they don't need me anymore. Oh, okay. Well, they don't need me anymore. That's good. What am I going to do with my time and where am I going to get the value? So
yeah. We'll talk more about that.
Maybe it's go bowling. Maybe it's I'm learning how to play squash right now.
Right.
So there's not a lack of things to do. And the reality, I think it's just getting your mind wrapped around what that reality is, because I still want to contribute. I still want to be able to drive the business forward.
Sure.
And that's what they need from me. That's where the vision comes in. And that's what it's taken me 10 years to really understand and really kind of get there. I think it's it'll be a lifelong process, right? It's going to continue to change and evolve. And if we double down again, what does that look like? And what will my role be then?
Right.
And so now, though, I have a little more headspace to say, oh, I know exactly what it's going to look like.
Right. And it's not just here,
Right.
it's here.
God willing, I'll have grandkids
Right.
and I'll be spending 3 days a week with them or 3 half days taking them wherever. And then,
that's awesome.
half the day riding or with my bikes with my friends or doing all kinds of stuff, traveling with my wife and friends, doing crazy stuff. And so there's plenty to do. It's just, how do you make sure that you're there present for people and it's important to contribute.
Right.
Because, there's other companies that they still run, they just replace themselves.
Yep.
Exactly. But being able to know what that looks like. And then maybe I'm just coming in and popping in and consulting where they need me to consult or do whatever.
Right.
But we're waiting to find out what that is. That's still down the road.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, you're an inspiration to me, especially watching you share your vision and your beliefs and your passion and let go of the vine and built an amazing team. And so I appreciate that. And I appreciate your friendship. My last question, the name of the podcast is Viva La Visionary. So what does Viva La Visionary mean to you?
I think just own it, This is who I am. Enjoy the ride.
Right.
Like it's going to be fun. It's never going to be dull. I like to go fast. So what is it? Long live the visionary, right?
Awesome.
It takes a visionary to really push the envelope.
Yep.
And that goes to the innovation part of our mission.
Yep.
Because I'm willing to take those chances.
Right. Love
because
it.
I see the value, even if it doesn't work.
Yep.
You don't know until you try. It's just like an education.
Right. All right. Thank you for your time and your wisdom. Appreciate you.
Thanme. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you again soon. All right. Peace.